So, everyone, um, I'm going to share to you my response that I found the train because I'm on benefits, so I don't get luxury to afford to every little newspaper, you know. But it's nice that sometimes when you get on a train, this evening, um, it's the news, and I don't really like the news on the view because 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 we live in a society where we all being certain people are forced to be kept in as ignorant as children, which reminds me um of a BBC drama. If I ever find it, I'll tell you about it another time. Basically, the BBC drama, which is based in a historical context about this woman who is middle class, and she says she knows that she owns this big mansion. You know, in those days where rich people have mansions, well, of course there are still people who have rich mansions, but they're now celebrities, not aristocrat. He has somewhat royal connections, but you know, but as you know, in England, and she helps the community in the village, and she says something. She says those the work, the people in the bottom and the middle class, and the lower class and the back servants, you know, as ignorant children, that they need to be looked after. Well, it hasn't really changed much, really, and you know, even because I studied citizen rights, you know, the time when Labour Party was good at the time in the 90s, there was a lot of things going on, but even then, as I said, you know, people are very ignorant children. You know, people do not want to think for themselves. They wait for someone to tell them the truth, and by the time you wait for someone like to tell the truth, do you even support people like me who speak up? Everybody's has pretend anyway. So you know, so we are kept like children. So people, I'm going to tell you my response of this. I don't need to read every little detail because this is the same plain race card of those who I know. As I said, I was born and lived in Oxford, so I know people who in the political game, you know, and you know when Tony Blair, I was very fortunate. I was 16 and I couldn't. My parents, they didn't have to pay, so I had an access course called citizen rights. Right, so I was able to have the chance to go to the House Parliament to know what these people really think, and also the times when I work in the day centre, you get a chance to get through to politicians, and plus you have connections in Oxford with people who works with politicians, or you know someone, and someone shows you someone who's trying to be in the political game. As I said, you know, especially coming from a peasant family, parent. Now the reason why I say peasant, because that is what the middle class and the upper class sees people like me and my parents as the peasants. Especially remember in Vogue editor, she said, who was student of Nike, BBC and she said about the treat Harris about Nike, and she says these full peasants, I ain't gonna put this and that, and people like her has a right to say that in some ways, because they are the elite. They tell you exactly what they think. They're not going to be like being children saying, "Oh, nicely, oh, nothing." You know, I came from a grammar school, was a grammar school now, Wheatley Park, and haven't you? People just say exactly what they think because they get away with it. They can say whatever they like. You can pretend. When you in their face, they will tell you who that they're above and who isn't. They know who to overcome, who isn't. Anyway, so yes, so this is from the Evening Standard. Proportionately, I don't really like the Evening Standard. I think it's very racist, discriminating, and they make people think they're naive. But anyway, but that's another story. But as I said, anyway, he's pretending that he's a victim. I tell you, if you watch all the documentaries like Self Millionaire in Channel 4, all the black people who comes in this show, in society show, they hate their own race. They hate their own race. They have to be white. If they really want to help their own people and the other ethnic minority people, because he's black than me. I'm mixed race and he's blacker than me. I know and stuff. But things has not changed since the Commonwealth. People in UK and the Commonwealth for a long time. There's a reason why. They just don't. They. If you want to be in the top, you have to. Like Margaret Thatcher, she was working class. She went up, and guess what? What's that? So what society's rule is? The Western culture is the pyramid scheme. Basically, if you want to go up in life, make sure you don't have anybody else because society's rule. If you want to be in the top, don't help other people. And people like me who wants to help, society's not going to help me to get up because they know people like me will want to help people. Why do you think Tony Blair and Sherry was put down? For a reason. Now, they was not the best people, but they was willing to help their own people for a reason. They represent. Even Sherry, she tried to in Jamie Oliver, politician. She was working class. And a barrister. Even she was trying to help the working class. Did the media care about that? No, they just wanted to. There was very sexist. It was the 90s, and they didn't. And she was doing being a real proper feminist from a feminist school, the same school that's like Margaret Thatcher, her parents put her up to go to feminist school, and she was trying to represent people. But society, they play this pyramid scheme, or where people go up to Jacob's ladder and make sure there's no ladder for anybody else, because heaven puts a ladder for them, and it's gone for everybody else. And people will assume why they work hard and they don't go up. You know why? Because we live in a precious system. Certain people could go up, and the rest of the people cannot go up. So yeah, so with him, he's telling a fake story. He's saying, "Oh, I was bullied," and I tell you, I used to be bullied, and guess what? I would make sure I'd stick on other people thing, and now he's become the bully in the bully party. Real bullies always pretend, poor me, but behind people's back, they make sure nobody goes up. Sanjay is betrayer. He's a betrayer. If people listen to about the Tories, they don't care about ethnic minorities. They don't care about the Celtic or about the Irish people, because I said I'm called Irish. Gordon is a Celtic name. Originally came from Scotland, and in Ireland. My grandfather was a depressed working class man. Died from a hard life. He could have lived longer. He was a rich, wealthy man. And my dad's 16 instead. That's what poverty does to people. So, you know, so he's saying, I am an outsider, and that's what the Tories need. He can play that game, but I'm telling you, the Tories don't care about people. If they really did, they have, with I remember as a child in the early 90s, my parents cried. I know some people. I know my next door neighbour. She works in the social systems in the Caribbean. I think the Caribbean, and and she's worked for social services for young people. I'm telling you, everybody was suppressed. Everyone was suppressed. It was working class people. John Major didn't care nobody. He didn't, as I said, and stuff, they have no remorse. If there was about Scotland, there was laughing about the slavemen and these people, they have no remorse. They're glad that they suppress certain races, certain minorities, certain classes, and it's they and those who came up, they're there to be a slave, to a puppet, to say that things that will convince them. You want to change, don't work for your enemies. Yes, be friends with them, definitely, but if we learn from in the 1800s, an Indian man, which I can't remember because he was a hypocrite. He was considered, the British took over in India, made him think that he was the blackest person. So go in the back. Right? Why things didn't improve in India? You know why? Because the other people in the certain elite class in India, they'll go on, and most of the people who are upper class Indian, I'm telling you, they're the most bigger hypocrites who goes on the top, who are middle class or upper class. They don't even look at no one. If it's their own child, if he's suffering, he'd be someone else. I'm telling you. It's no, I'm not classed as anything, but I just say things as they are. Human beings who go to the top, they look down. Those, it only requires a certain people who like people like that Sherry remembers the hard times, willing to live with the poor people, even help in getting a black mayor in London, that was historical. Even helped with the Stephen case. John Major didn't care. The Tories doesn't care about ethnic minorities people. They don't care about Celtic people, the Celtic community. They don't care. All they want is all the pie from themselves. And this guy, he just make. They allow him in because to make things. He thinks this is a puppet. This is a show, a psychology show. He says, he's just see what he says, right? Look at him. He can afford to go to India. My mom, she's an immigrant. She probably who came from the Commonwealth, Dominica. She never been able to afford to come back. She's a working class lady. My dad, he's half Irish, half English, working family. He never been to Ireland. He never know much because my grandfather died. he has learning difficulties. You know, they overcome certain things, but even they've been they're suppressed. You know, and how it's only the middle class and the upper class families that can go on these holidays and stuff, and the working class families they have to sacrifice is choose to buy a house or go on holiday, or not have car or go in debt, use a credit card. That's how working class families can afford. Or sell drugs. I'm just being honest with you. That's how they go, right? Or sex industry, work in sex industry, or work several, or the honest way, working several jobs so they can afford their lifestyle, like the Joneses. And that's how they can afford to, unless they have families that pit together. That's how it is. So it's the same story. People wonder why there is no black politician. Why? It's because people are repeating history. If, Tories did not. Do you know? People should know. My grandma told me is that the first party that allowed people was Jewish and the Jewish and the black and the Irish. Which party did they represent? Labour. Of course, that's all facade, as we know, and represent women with Labour, but it took them so long time. But even Labour's kind of a bit. They suppress women, and as we know, they went to Green, and Green, I'm going to be honest with you, Green is racist. I tried to go in Green Party. I'm telling you, they just wanted someone from, because I know I'm not qualified to be a politician. I could be a local politician, even then, I have to have a degree. I have to write, I have to do things. The only thing I could do is basically to join the party, in Green Party, and even then, I wanted to help to represent the disability and ethnic minorities in Oxford, in Risingers. Unfortunately, the person, she was a snob. I just wonder if I was in the same school and then stuff, I didn't have enough connections. That's the problem. All the ethnic people were angry, saying, "Oh, this and that." No, that's what the white people want. That's what the white people want. And sorry, people who are white, but you have more opportunity. You have no, and I'm white, I have to say, but I do know I'm not a privileged person. I have to fight for little things to enjoy life, and even then I'm really angry because people are naive to say, "Oh, things have changed." Well, I'm telling you, history doesn't change for nothing. This is illusion. You can, people should know that Theresa May, she originally was on BBC Radio 2. She was originally actually was for Labour, and she decided to go to Tories. You know why? So she get up the ladder. But the problem is, the reason why they kick her off and why they didn't listen to her, just like Tony Blair. Now, I don't like the Tories for a very good reason. And I don't like the mainstream party either. They're all beside, but you have to kind of choose who's the strongest at the time, who's going to represent you. And even if they lose, at least they will represent your county to do things. But there's another political story. Maybe I could put on YouTube about how you would change the social economy. How do you build your own party? How do you, no matter how people vote, you can manipulate the county. How can you take over a county with your party? That's a very old school law, but these days you can't say certain things. So, but as I said, I for free educate you people. So without being a civil activist. Because I say that being a civil activist to change like I am, and being a civil activist, and by educating people about things on YouTube to tell you. So Sanjay, he like all the other Bapticians, they're just pretending. All the disabled people, they're pretending. They know. They just want to have all the good stuff while they betrayed their own people. And by the way, those who don't know what Tories is a posh old-fashioned word for Conservative Party. So, and by the way, Tories and people joke about the Tories is that they that like what the BBC portray party. Diane, who's a Labour, she's a cool person, but even then she needs to change ahead of time. Personally, if I was a position, I would say to them, go to a different create your own party, mate. They ain't gonna listen to you. Go to another party because your leader ain't allowing you. That's the problem. But there needs to be a different card game. Someone else to represent a new party, a new change. Because all the 3 or 4 parties, they're all weak in some ways. They're all stories. The same old story, the same old thing. And he's playing a poor card. But really, he's a menace. He's a psychopath, you could say. He's pretending. He's pretending in but behind his back, I bet people just say, "Oh, you're you are a rough black mongrel, isn't it?" Or something, because these, because his stuff. If he really cared about the people, about with the ethnic minority, the black community, the Asian community, the working class people, he wouldn't be joining that party. Instead, he'd probably be helping create another new party. It's getting me angry that nobody in the UK is mentioning this. It's people like me who have to speak up because I'm fed up of people complaining, and instead of putting their heads together. Wake up, people. We want to change history, that we change the news story, that we need to stop listening to people like him who's pretending. It takes a known actor to know actor, because I did acting, and I was very good. I had the A-level style, but unfortunately, I was discredited in Wick Park because the teacher, she was white, and she looked down the disability people, and she said, if it wasn't for my dyslexic and me having head injury, then she would mark me. That's the problem. So I didn't get a recognition. I did my A-level. I did my GCSEs. You try and you get discriminated. But if you got a family, got money, got other people working against to make sure, people would listen. But the problem is, as I was going to say with Kepper, his last video, that the truth, when he said to his friends, the truth communicator, that you guys are the ones who pretend you support him, but in the end he died. Why? Because people didn't raise up, make sure he's safe. It says every man to himself. If people want to call back justice, your hippie communities, you name it, truth communities, social violence and social qualities, then you need to work together. Stop being silenced. Work together. It's people like Kepa to work together, work with people, and we could rise. We could rise the phoenix. But the problem, we still acting like minorities. There's more of us than there's more than them. But do it in the civil way, because that's what you need to do. The civil way. The civil way is by voting and buying properties, businesses, voting by what you pay, community, and guess what? That's how you get it. That's another form of social bidding. If you don't like slavery, buy fair trade shop. If you're sick of your town getting empty, Twitter and Facebook. Get people rallying and buying. You don't need to protest, because at the moment, we live in Europe, the dark Europe, where people are not allowed to protest. It's illegal. You can't protest. It's ruined people's day. But you can protest by buying. It's like buying land, creating as communal living, creating community schools. Instead of relying on the government and you pay more and say things are going to change, I'm telling you nothing's going to change. You have to buy your house, if you see a homeless person, be happy to pay taxpayers money to support someone to be out on the homeless street. Adopt people like me who's put on mental capacity, so then help them to get out from the thing. That's how you change things. That's how you change. And also we educate the young people to vote, because voting does matter, mate. It does, because the thing is though, the Tories are trying to sway people to vote. He says about young voters. He said you can't win a majority of Parliament unless you win seats in London. We need young people to vote for us. I'm telling you, they're trying to vote. They think you young people are dumb. You are smart. If you want to be smart, you need to learn about citizens. Go to community colleges. Go and read books about history. Libraries, mate, it's popular thing. There's a reason why libraries will help. One people saying, why the Irish, the English, poor English people and ethnic minority people who are ignorant. You know why? Because they cannot read. They cannot read. They cannot write. And someone's putting suppressing a thing. So those who are wealthy black people who wants to help the young people, make sure that they find a way for them, to all the black community, to help fund programs for helping overcoming dyslexia, ADHD, and programs to help them to overcome the disabilities. Because there are private places in London where they are free, where they have to pay, like dyslexic. It's where you have to do rich people. This like Stacey, the BBC. She had to go and pay, and then I went to try and call these people. And guess what? And guess what? It's for white rich folks, isn't it? Right, rich folks. And there's a 1% person. And it takes the parents to sacrifice everything so that these people, his family, sacrificing him. And who did he represent? The Tories, his own enemies, who doesn't want to apologise about about the history of them enslavement. There's different types of enslavement that hasn't happened. You know, it's not the obvious type of psychology. There'll be a time when I'll be saying about the social form of what type of racist enslavement is. You know, but I'm telling you, things will not change. You know, Oxford's still racist. It's more racist than it was. You know. But I'll tell you another story about that. Maybe I don't know, because we live in a time of depression, where certain people can save certain beings and certain people not. You know. But I'm telling you, this man is pretending to be a victim, but really he's got all the pie. He just wants people to vote for him, you know, because his job is the reason why the Tories allow him to be in there, so it can be a fair ethnic child card, just like it was for me in Wheatley Park School, right, and Wheatley Primary School, right. Wheatley Primary School was where Sir Boris Johnson came, right, and part of it was Wheatley Primary School was John Watson's school. This was in the same area, and it was one of the early immigrant schools that were established in the post-war. And I tell you something. You know, they only allowed people like me in, but most of the teachers, they were immigrant. They didn't want me to be in quality. You know what they tell all the rich kids, the white rich kids? I was a bronze person in there. Oh, you know, they're different and stuff, you know. Seriously, it took me so courage to prove these people. You know, there was a boy who was deaf. He treated me he would buy me gifts. Me and Daniel, this boy, we were both peasant disabled kids who come from peasant parents, you know, naive from the system, and we were sitting there, and we didn't get a gift, and our mother wouldn't want to. You know why? Because if she did that, then she won't be popular. If you want to be popular, that's what is in the Western society. If you want to be popular, get on by being a mean girl, a mean boy. And like in Pretty in Pink and Breakfast Club, you know it. You pretend that, you know, it's not about equality. It's always the same pyramid scheme, the same pyramid lies. At workplace, at schools, at parliament, they're all the same school thing, and they, you know, they like to use the minority card to say that insecurity, that the inequality will naturally, the real inequality, there'll be not such thing as ethnic minority, or a minority of people who it's poor class, bottom class people who disabled, you name it, all these people. And then, by the way, I'm telling you something. Someone said to me when I was growing up about someone who was blind, the famous guy who was blind. I think it was David Blunkett. Yeah, David Blunkett. He was not really blind. He was just he was blind, but he was told to do a stick because someone caught him pretending he was black to help people in Labour in London, and they said to me that David Blunkett doesn't think I'm not surprised because people can act as much as they can, but it's always catch up. Actors they're convinced, but in the end, and they can believe it themselves. But truth will always prevail. Truth will always prevail, my friends. They rebel, and somehow truth's spin out because because they can act perfect and like but slips up. You know, people use your instincts. Read history books. You name it. You know this man is acting. This man's acting. If he really cared, he'd be open doors for loads of people. That's what the establishment. Think, guys, think.